to me in one of her first or second classes. She said that oh, okay, iPhone here. Um, so she said to me that women have limiting beliefs on things, based on a variety of factors. And there was something that she said to me that clicked into me that said, oh, if I had, these limiting type of beliefs, maybe other women, female founders also had these type of limiting beliefs. And so with that being said, um, yeah, I'm explaining why, some people are coming in later, but so I guess we're going to get started here in a moment.
So we have Christine. Is Christine? Maybe you should just we just everybody.
I think letting a few people come in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who iPhone is.
This is Emma,
Oh,
iPhone.
hey, Emma. How are
Sorry,
you?
I'm having the same difficulties with my laptop Zoom, so I just figured I would do it through my phone.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So Emma, tell me a little more about yourself.
So I'm enrolled in my master's program right now at Adler. It's like a university in Chicago.
Okay.
So I'm doing IO psychology with a concentration in data science.
Okay.
I've been helping Rose out with a lot of materials and research, as well as like coordinating certain things. So this is my first class I'm like sitting in on though. So
Thank you. Christine, would you introduce yourself, sweetheart? Who are you? Tell me a little more about you.
How do I talk? Am I talking?
Yes, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. So my name is Christine. I am an HR manager. I'm a pretty boring person and just checking this out.
Wow, I don't
I'm a
believe
homebody. I'm just a homebody.
All right, Christine, thank you for sharing that. Now, how do you work with, who do you work with? Have you worked with Rose before? What's your connection to Rose?
No, I've just known her for, geez, Rosie, how many years? Like a lot. Probably 17 years.
Okay.
So I've watched her, like I've literally watched her start at ground zero and build her business up with like like going to California with nothing but a suitcase and
That's,
totally turning into something completely amazing. And I'm totally proud of her. So super glad
that's
to call her one of my bestest friends.
wonderful, Christine. Thank you for coming to the call.
Yeah.
Stephanie, would you like to introduce yourself for the group?
Sure. Hi, I'm Steph. I am in Austin, Texas, and I'm working with Rose on Female Founders Institute. I come from a background of VC and before that, neuroscience.
Wonderful. And what is the university that you taught, sweetheart? You
Oh,
did
I used to teach at Vanderbilt University
Vanderbilt University. Wonderful.
many,
Great.
many moons ago, lifetimes ago, it feels
And
like.
what are you doing? What are you doing now? What is your main source of energy at this moment? What do you do? Who do you work for?
Oh, I do VC investments.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And what is VC investments for people to know, to understand that term? What does that
Oh,
mean?
okay, sorry about that. I invest in early stage companies and do a particular kind of method where it basically involves buying out investors.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Heidi Han, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi.
Hi.
So my name is Heidi. I have a small business, Divine Octave. I do energy healing, astrology, and yeah, I've spent most of my life in some kind of holistic healing field. I've been blessed to know Elena and work with her, and yeah, it's just beautiful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Andrea, sweetheart, would you mind introducing yourself? I don't know. Wait, I think we must miss Andrea. I don't know if she can hear me. Andrea, can you hear me, love? Okay, you're mute, sweetie.
Maybe she's on mute. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. I don't think she's. Okay, we'll just wait for her and let's go to Just D. Okay, Just D. Honey, can you hear us?
Maybe she can't hear us either.
Okay, well, let's go to who is the next person here? Path number 2. Who am I missing? Kevin? Go ahead, hon.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin. I've been working with Elena for, I don't know, since probably about November. And I was introduced to her via the internet because I was looking for somebody that really on a different level, but she turned me in a totally different direction, which is fantastic, I'll tell you, and all that. I'm primarily a real estate developer. I work for various corporations. I have worked for various corporations in developing commercial real estate and managing commercial real estate. So my background has always been in business and particularly real estate.
Thank you so much. And who are you working at this moment for?
Right now, I'm working with a company called Maverick. They are a convenience store gas station operator. They are breaking into the California market, and that's where I primarily work out of. So I'm working on a number of stores out there. At one time, I had 40. Now I'm down to about 20. So we're slowly opening up more and more.
Wonderful. And I think this is a good time to introduce Kevin and Heidi because they are the ones who are going to be my strategy team. So let's say when it comes to Rose, for instance, if she has a program that we're going to be supporting, they are going to be coming into my team into what they have the skills. Both of them have the ability to also learning how to make changes in the molecular behavior, which means that let's make that simple in the sense that intuitively we can observe how behaviors can be changed by just bringing awareness of the blocks and limiting beliefs, and then looking as well as we can recognize the blocks and limiting beliefs, the possibilities that they can be replaced with, which I call the new realities. And so that's the type of coaching that we use. We're like, this is what I was being presented to be in November. And so that has been a pleasure working both of them. And really, I recognize, and to me, it's an honor to work with them in the energy of, yeah, it's a beautiful energy. And so we're also teaming up basically for the changes that are coming in society, right? Things are changing so much. So we know new opportunities are coming through a new perspective, to new ways of creating. And so I think what I have just learning when we just went to Peru, Kevin came with me just a couple of weeks ago, in the sense that establishing what is called a social balance, social stability that is going to come from the perspective of creating with the heart, right? So Rose, can you hear me, hon?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Who are we missing that we didn't introduce in the team?
I think let's see here. I think we haven't touched upon with John.
Okay, great. John, would you mind coming into the call, please? And
Sure.
tell us more about yourself.
Okay, well, first of all, Rose and I go back to about 2016, and she and I have been cooperating on a number of different ventures, some of them hers and some of them mine, and then some mutual activities as well. During the normal workday, I'm responsible for 3 different organizations. One of them in the entertainment field, TV production. Another is a healthcare company that I'm the CEO of. And the third is a venture that funds new startup operations. So I have responsibilities actually in 4 different areas, if you count the 3 that I just told you about, plus the things that I'm working with you and Rose on.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, John, for coming into the call. And I think what I would like to present, let's see, Rose, do we have everybody else that
I think
that
so.
so did we have the person that signed up for the class? Oh, she did not show up. What is her name again? I'm sorry.
Let's see here. Let me see. So her name is going to be Eva, I believe.
Okay.
Um,
And I don't see any Eva unless Eva is here in the team. And would you please speak up or just make yourself help us to be aware that you're here? Okay. Okay, this is perfect. I don't see her, but that's okay.
we could send her
That's
the recording.
okay, sounds great. So I'm going to share with you a presentation here. We just got a message here. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. That's Christine. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to close that for now. And I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation. Oh, and I'm just going to go here, put it in the space of view. Let me see. Of view. Slice. Okay, Limiting Beliefs Masterclass. Begin your transformation with the Inca Way and Female Founder Institute.
I think we don't see anything on your screen though.
Oh, you don't? Okay, hold on for a second. Go into this. And I'm just going to share this. I'm just going to go over here and let me know if you can see anything. Can you
Yeah,
see
now,
it?
yeah, now we
Yes.
can see this.
So I just want to honor Kevin today because we're going to be working together. We're going to be a team. Kind of reminds me that when we were in Peru, I was working with a mystic tourist guy and we were in a team, right? And it was really cool because sometimes we didn't say things, but we communicated to the level, in the intuitive level, where we make sure that we kept the team going because for like 10 days, for 8 days, we took a team and a lot of them were like in, two of them had also starting their nonprofit organization. So they need to feel what was the vision, what they were going to be creating in the process of creation. So it was good that and that's kind of the same format I kind of want to take with Kevin today, where I will finish something and I'll say, go ahead, Kevin, just follow your intuition, bring the information into what's the next thing. And then we're just going to start taking turns and to sharing the information with you that is going to be helping you to move forward and again, forward in the possibilities that you can create, right, by clearing limiting beliefs. So I just want to do a short introduction here about myself. And so I was born in Peru, and I come from the Indian shaman. I'm an Indian shaman, which comes from the Inca and pre-Inca culture. And I'm the founder of the Inca Way. So my focus is to create blocks and limiting beliefs to be able, at DNA level, and the molecular level, to help people to clear the ancestral damage, the social damages, and damages that were created for the use, they created for themselves, right? So the process is to empower my clients, the Inca Way clients, are to help them to fulfill through holistic growth and personal growth and create opportunities that one day to create in their life. So there's different areas where we work in the personal level, we work in the business level, and we also work in, there's another one. We work a lot into the energy of creating a new reality for the universe as a whole, right? The earth as a whole. How can we bring ideas or concepts that people can grab into that from higher consciousness, that people can use them as possibilities for them to change into what's coming into the world. So I think one of the things that was very clear when I went to Peru this time is things are changing. So because I have learned to observe the transformation of us as humans in the molecular level, one of the things that it's like this ancient shaman, he's observing the molecular behavior, and he's observing what is the atom, right? Which is an electron, how the electron behaves, how the protons behave. And so when we make the changes, we make it from that perspective of human molecular behavior. So, and because we had to learn, and this is part of what Heidi, as well as Kevin do, is you can see something, but you need to find the intuitively translation, what that means in our world, what it actually means, and how we can bring that in a way that is a powerful way instead of a way that is not powerful. I say not powerful because we have to be very careful in the sense that people, they're opening up to something. We observe things that sometimes people are not aware of it. So we have to have a language that when we bring that knowledge, we're empowering them into something that is accessible to help them to be able to contribution to themselves and a contribution to the world. So we transform from the atomic level. So just to tell you a little more about Indian shamans, these are the wisdom that we care about. The molecular behavior has been created. They had the knowledge. There was a civilization over 50,000 years ago. And that was the Mu people. And these Mu people was before Atlantis, and it continues some of the knowledge after the fall of Atlantis, right? So there's a lot of history and there's a lot of honor that history comes in what we do. And our belief system is, and this is where Heidi, myself, and Kevin have to always make sure that we teach this to others. It's not about time and space. But it's about experience, what you want to experience. So let's say John, I'm looking at John, and he wants to experience purity. He wants to bring purity into the world. So it's experience, it's a knowledge of how to bring purity into the world, which means probably somewhere in time, John had the knowledge and the memories inside of her body into her molecular level, that there was a time where there was a society where purity was what we wanted to create. The essence of purity means balance, right? Balance of creation, balance of experience. So when we tap into that information, we bring that information in a way that's going to be helpful to the person that has that information. And then we coach them into how to use that knowledge and their techniques that they remember all what they want to create and how to take it to the next level. And we start clearing the blocks and limiting beliefs, and then we help them to evolve into what is the intention of their heart, right? So the best way to do this is to teach how to feel. So so I just want to go into this. I just want to make sure everybody has some water. And the reason why we want to have water is because while I'm talking and how helping you to be aware of what's going on with blocks and limiting beliefs, when you are generating energy and there's a movement and there's understanding, we're changing already. So this is a process that we can transform while just giving the information, because your awareness will create a movement, and that movement would allow you to create new possibilities, and that can happen in 2 or 3 seconds. But we're making sure that you understand there's emotion that's happening with you, and that's why I want to make sure to drink water, because it's helping the process of what we're doing, right? So what is a block? And I think because this is in a business level, this is in a corporate level, this is a nonprofit level, for profit, no profit. I think I would like to define what is a block from that type of niche market, right? A block is anything that's not allow you to be successful in generating what you need to generate to be powerful in your business. So, Kevin, what would you integrate in that?
Okay. Blocks what I've been learning are certain beliefs and certain understandings of who I was and what I told the person that I was. And as a result, These were limiting beliefs that didn't allow me to really grow in areas that I really wanted to grow in, and also always put the question in about who am I and how I can go on. But there was always something there that prevented me from doing that. Uh, with that said, a lot of blocks were for me, and in particular, were put on me by other people in defining who I was. And in the end, they drove me, and I don't want to say drive like in a hard way, but guided me, I would say, in areas that I'm finding out that really truly that's not who I am, and what I can create in my life.
Thank you so much. A limiting belief. What's a limiting belief to me? A limiting belief is a belief that has limitations. For instance, one belief that has limitation is that I'm not enough. So even the corporate level, you have that belief that I'm not enough, then that is going to create a block, right? So the limited belief is the trigger to create a block. So for instance, a limited belief, again, like I said, I'm not enough, then you're going to be performing in that level in your business because you're constantly to try to prove something. And in the process of trying to prove something, you forget to be who you are and your essence energy. So you can break these cycles through feeling something. I know if I were to be teaching, like in my situation as a mother, and I want to teach myself into how to create a limitation with a limitation, will be I'm enough to be the mother of my children. For a business person in the business world or for-profit company, as a spiritual advisor, or as an advisor, I will say, possibly let's define one of the main commons, and that's fear. Fear is a limiting belief. Fear is driving and creates the blocks around your environment. So we want to make sure that we understand what's a block, but we want to understand what is the limiting belief that's creating that block. Go ahead, Kevin. What's the next thing that you're getting?
The next thing I was getting is that, a lot of limiting beliefs also carry with it frequency. And when that frequency is expressed through our feelings. And sometimes we'll have a feeling of being afraid, like Elena said, or we'll have a feeling of being, less than or shrinking in some ways. And with those feelings and those beliefs, it will definitely restrict how far we can go or how far we would be willing to go.
Exactly. So I had somebody in the group that went to Peru that believed really strongly that she had to be perfect in order to create a structure that who she is. The limiting belief is that she had to be perfect. So the block was created into the sense that if I'm not perfect, then I'm not going to be able to find my ideal partner. Let's say that, for instance. So if you want to take that into the business world, would be I won't be able to find the people that can do the funding for me, or I'm not going to be able to find the key people that can be my team, my support team to move forward, right? So there's very conviction,
Oh,
right?
that's nice. So just freaking left care of it all.
Oh, hi, Sherry. So conviction, right? For instance, the conviction is such a powerful word when it comes to the business level, in the sense that, okay, so I have conviction that I'm going to find the perfect partners to be able to create a structure I need to create. Like in my business, it took a little while. I have to become that possibility, that experience to be able to pull that type of quality of people that I can work with. So I did learn through these different people what it was by much when it comes to working and moving forward into this new language. But once I find what I wanted, then I can move forward in that. So go ahead, Kevin. What are you getting?
Um, what I'm feeling and what I'm getting intuitively is, you know, sometimes we fall into a very black and white type of scenario in terms of either has to be this way or that way. And we miss the colors that are in between. And that's where the opportunities exist, where we can get through obstacles and we can get men and we can move forward. So what I basically felt were colors, and looking at the various ways of approaching different limiting beliefs in our lives, instead of saying, oh, it's always been this way, or it's always going to be that way. We can look in a myriad of different ideas.
Perfect. Yes, thank you so much. So we're just going to go into this and show you through one of the reasons why Kevin went, because he followed his intuition to Peru. And I think one of the surprises for him was to understand that part of his calling, intuitively calling, was to recognize the movements of molecular behavior. So I'm going to give you the vision here of two of them, right? So when I observe them, the first one is the one that has the blue lines, right? Those are the electrons. You can see the blue electrons. They're so connected, and they're bright, and they're happy, and they're very loving. And then you see these black ones over here that are not in the orbit. Somehow they jump out of it, right? It's because these ones have blocks and limiting beliefs. So when I was in Peru, when you get to Peru, and not necessarily in the cities, but in the open fields and the high in the Peruvian mountains, you feel this energy of happiness. It is so present that there's no judgment, because you're intaking that information from the molecular behavior of the plants, the mountains, the rocks, right? And it felt really nice. But if you go into the city, and even there's evidence of the Catholic Church building, their buildings on top of the Inca sites as a suppression, as a way of showing that they're dominant to it. So you can feel that energy as well. And here that I'm in Portugal, last night I'm in an island, right? It's called Madeira. And I was just thinking, what is the energy of this place? And it took me a little while to understand the energy, but it was the energy of freedom. And it was quite interesting, because even though in Europe we have World War I, II, and World War II, and because of that, people have changed their minds and they don't want war, and they're so accepting to people from other places, and they very accepting to immigrants and in general in their countries. They're welcoming. It's because it was like the suppression of the Nazi ideas, so different groups and through history that but even though this island is part of Europe, it never really felt that. So the essence, I was feeling the molecular behavior. Well, let's say this is Europe, based in all the wars and the Nazi ideas and the suppression, the killing. But here in Madeira, I was feeling that the energy was here. Well, let's ignore these black dots here, which are the electrons. And everything was freedom. And for 3 hours, I felt my energy and the expression of freedom. And I never felt so much self-expression like I did last night while I was feeling, because there's no that energy of fear in this place. So now you take into account and you see what is suppressing you, what's controlling you. And I think one of the things that I don't know, Kevin, anything that you want to add to that? What was your experience when it comes to this?
When we were in Peru, I have to say that I went down with a certain idea, and I came back with a totally different idea. And what that was is how connected we are to the energy of everything around us. And the beautiful thing that happened to me is that I was able to tap into the molecular energy that, like Elena was talking about, being the happiness of the mountains. I could feel the happiness of the mountains. Now, there was the energy, but then as I got down into it more, I could actually see and feel the molecular part of happiness, which just totally blew me away. And, we could sit here and say, well, what is that? But it is, again, a vibration and a frequency that I just did not expect to feel. So from that trip, that was the very first thing that I learned, is the frequency and the vibration, I guess, of what we experience every day.
Thank you so much. And so that is the main goal of the Inca Way, is supporting people to create blocks and limiting beliefs from the molecular level, which means we recreate a new reality for these electrons that are not working. And we're now yes, blocks and limiting beliefs are part of the process, but it's through the energy of self-love that will help to integrate and bring this back into balance, into orbit, with a new reality that's going to support that molecular behavior, right? So let's go to the next way. How me, Kevin, and Heidi are trained to get to this level to provide to you the services that you're looking for is we get to master what's the energy of unconditional love, the energy of integrity, the energy of power of being, the energy of acceptance, the energy of creation. So I want to explain this again. We have to constantly have to experience this. This is not about time and space for us. To be able to experience what we experience, we have to experience these different things. So that it takes us very into what's really important, integrity, right? So everything that we work with each one of you is to bring the information to empower you, not to confuse you. And so that's why this is, I think, is very powerful. And so we create movement. Everything that you observe has, there's an end result to everything that you observe. So if you're observing things from the perspective of self-love, then you can make a transformation in your business. But if you're not observing from the perspective of self-love, then it's like those electrons, the dark ones, there's no movement of it. So in order to empower your business, is we teach you to create movement. And that movement is giving you knowledge of what it can be possible once you release the blocks and limiting beliefs. All right? So another concept I want to present, the concept of the linear time and circular time. Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. Let me just go back to that and tell me what is your intuition? What are you getting for that?
What I'm getting on this, it's so important to understand that energy is movement. It's just not a specific moment that we are in. And that feeling the energy, feeling the frequency, and feeling whatever you want to call it, and seeing the movement of it is so important. And this is something that I actually experienced in Peru. And it allowed me to see more of the molecular level of what Elena is explaining.
Thank you so much. So the next one, I just want to help you to understand. Go ahead and drink some water, all of you, because I think that you're going to need this, because this is the moment we're going to start making changes in your space. But let's explain you one more concept. There's a difference between linear time and circular time. Linear circular time is when all the molecular behavior, the balance of electrons, protons, and neutrons are working together. So we don't focus in the past. We're always focusing in the present, and we observe the present from the perspective of self-love, and then we create a powerful future. If we are in linear time, that's a fragmentation where we completely focus in the past, like regrets, what you could have done better, and we're stuck in our personal development. So this is another technique that the Inca Way teaches to all of you how to move forward. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. You will find the solution in the future to overcome or clear what happened in the past. Kevin, what are you getting for that?
With that, and this is something that you and I have discussed in the past, is the idea of acknowledging what these and I'm talking in linear time right now, not circular time, acknowledging the past mistakes that I made that sometimes I'd hang on to and I would beat myself up over. And understanding that I can put those down, acknowledge that it happened, it was a mistake, and realize that that's not going to define me now. And it puts me in the present and allows me to move forward into creating where I want to go instead of saying, all right, I made this mistake. I have to make amends for this. I have to do this or whatever.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think the next one is the one that I really like is I think sometimes we misunderstand or we undervalue the power of self-love. The power of self-love is what awakens in you to be able to help you to move forward. There was a time where I didn't understand that every answer to every problem that you had or to every possibility that you have is in your heart. It's already there. And so when you're triggered into self-love and you feel the energy of your heart, you are finding the possibilities, the solutions to the problems that were created or that you want to overcome or you want to change for your future, right? That's what creates the balance between the present and the future. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to reiterate the importance of self-love because I never understood, well, I shouldn't say I never understood. I never fully understood really how important it is to have that in my spirit or within my heart, if you want to say, in trying to create and moving forward with what we're going to be talking about, particularly in circular time.
Thank you so much. Okay, and this one over here, I think this is very important. When we are in the energy, the perspective of Indian shaman is always the fifth dimension, right? So the secret geometry that we see is very related to the molecular behavior that humans have. So to us, the action of life is a multidimensional expression of self. So you don't create the world from the outside world, you create the world from the inner part of you. So go ahead, Kevin. Can you explain? You have experience that you want to share for that?
Again, Peru was such an experience for me. You'll probably hear me talk about it a lot since it's barely a week old. The fifth dimension, in terms of shapes and figures and the sacred geometry of life, the experience I had down there is it showed me the actual atom. Now that we had the picture before, what the atom with the electrons, protons, and everything else rolling around it, but then where that sits within a bigger picture of who I am, and that sounds very, very big, but it showed me how important it is to work on the molecular level and to see all of these various shapes and other figures that I experienced down there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so in physics, what they define the fifth dimension is as a dimension that's added to the three-dimensional space, right? Which is the height. If you're looking into a room, you see the height and you see the width, and then and what is that? Height, width, and then length, right? So it's a three dimensions, but it's actually the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension higher are actually extra space to what you're seeing. So that's a multiple reality. You're seeing more than is besides the third space. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's going to be a moment where me and Kevin are going to be doing an assessment for each one of you, where I'm going to be sharing the blocks and limit means that I see, and then Kevin's going to be focusing into what are the possible solutions to what is being witnessed. So, and then you can be able to feel that, because we see things from a higher perspective of the fifth dimension, it's easier to find energies that create a solution, because we're using a technology that is created through the energies of love. And I'm just saying that because I want you to understand that self-love is a multi-dimensional energy, and it's amazing. It helps in so many ways in any reality I have been in my life in situations that I didn't think was possible to overcome, and they happen. So from that perspective of the spiritual world, hold on a second, the fifth dimension is a higher state of consciousness, right? So I think in the, go ahead, Kevin, I want you to go through this and explain this to the group. Hold on for a second. Yeah, can you go ahead and do this?
In terms of in the state of?
Also like, okay, so let me just complete this. So
Okay.
when we see energy, once you are in the full dimension, and I think this is part of what we're going to be coaching you guys, is that it's not about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad. That's a duality that exists in the third dimension. So time becomes fluid or irrelevant. So circle time becomes the new perspective of life. And we are guided by our intuition, love, and energy alignments. That's what we consider our energy of self-love. Go ahead, Kevin.
The feeling I was getting is that, particularly when it comes to right and wrong, good and bad, we have a tendency to want to pull the past up to the present and live in that and re-experience that and have that become what our reality is. And that is, again, staying in linear time. But when we're able to put the past in perspective through acknowledging, understanding, and really acknowledging is probably the best word, we're able to then free ourselves up to step into a different, higher state of consciousness.
That's right.
And on that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the part how this is very unique, because this is a body, right? This is a human body, and this is the DNA that is moving, right? And as you can see, if somebody were to see the DNA has different colors, okay? And it has two strands of DNA. So, and I'm just going to go ahead with this, Kevin. But in the reality of my culture, and the reason why we have so many colors in our tapestry is because they have the ability to see the cell, right? Inside of the cell, they can identify the DNA. And inside of the DNA is made of atoms, right? Which are electrons, protons, and neutrons. But it's not only the DNA. Every living thing that you see in the world, the universe, light, everything that is creating a movement is like a charger, right? You can have a TV, but if you don't charge that with electricity, it's not going to work, right? So the atoms is the essence of light that we carry to be able to have the movement that we have. So the inside of the the protons and neutrons, let's see over here, this what we call the quarks, which are the essence. There's an alignment of 3 different little dots that are connected there to be able to bring it back into life. So in the ancient, what we're going to be doing for you guys individually is creating the blocks and limiting beliefs, clearing the blocks and limiting beliefs using one specific sign, which really represents, here is where we change the behavior in this level, right? So I'm going to be observing, and and that's kind of difference right now in between me and Kevin, because I can read these energies. I can see the blocks and limited beliefs while I'm seeing them and regulate them already. But because Kevin is not at end level yet, what he's going to be doing is just channeling or giving the information on what are different options that can work for each one of you in order of those behaviors that are being removed. But the nice thing about it is that I'm already realigning the behaviors for each one of you, while Kevin is just presenting possibilities that are already existing inside of you. So that's the power of a choice. That's power of creation, knowing that you can have a saying in what you want to create in the future. And I think that's the problem when it comes to the past. We lose the ability to have a saying in what we want to create because we have been trained through our society, through our genetics, to have behaviors that does not allow us to manifest the changes that we want. So, and this is what's so important, because this is what the Incas represented in the tapestry, the DNA, the movements, how it can be changed. And we don't know too much about them because they didn't have it right. They didn't write or read the way how we did. They didn't have in that culture, but they were able to align in the tapestries the understanding of the molecular behavior. Now, if you understand Peru, Peru is a place where we have so many earth movements, because earthquakes, because of the the floats that come from the ocean, as well as what is created in the different regions of the Amazons, as well as the high Peruvian Andes. So they were able to create culture, and they were like around, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 million people, and that cover Peru and Argentina and part of Colombia and Bolivia. But what happened is that they didn't know what was poverty, because they knew how to align the intuition and how to move the different things, how they can support each other. And I think at that, the Inca way, my intention and is to be able to help people to understand how you can have a life of abundance. Yes, money is a tool, but what is your company is going to be aligning in a molecular behavior, because we understand, based on what we observe, that in the ancient times, there were 12 strands of DNA. We have only 2 left, strands of DNA, right? And these 2 strands of DNA that we have right now, they really have the tendency to keep you into the past and into the, because it has a duality, it has only 2 of them. So it's kind of representing what it works and what doesn't work, what's right, what's wrong, because it's so corrupted. So as a society, it's really hard to bring changes without the molecular level changes. So we're going back to what it used to be the ancient times, where we're using the frequencies of 12 strands of DNA, 12 different colors. So by integrating that, eventually, it's going to override the 2 strands of DNA. So this is why it's so important for us as a team in the Inca Way to work together with other organizations, because we are helping them to override corruption. We're helping them to override blocks and limiting beliefs, limitations that have been carried from generations through history or ancestral lineage, because we want to create a new reality that we have access to. And so creating and supporting your business or your nonprofit organization or what you want to create in your personal life is going to come from this perspective. So it's not going to be about right or wrong or the past, but it's going to be about aligning your possibilities coming into the future. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, and I would just like to reiterate what Elena just says. It's not about just clearing the past and understanding what your past is, but it's about what you're creating and where you're going forward from there, because it's the work from the present.
Thank you so much. So in that present, as you can see in the previous tapestry, that you can see that in the bottom, he was creating the 12 strands of DNA. Over here, this is what we call the Inca cross. So the assessments that we do is the 12 strands of DNA. So we start reading and we're recreating new colors into your DNA, and eventually those are the dominant trends of DNA, and you start becoming the possibility that you want to be without limitations, because now you're getting the support of other frequencies and other movements in the universe. And so you are creating a business that is going to survive in the future, because the 2 strands of DNA, the 2 understanding of those DNA, they're being obsolete, because there's so many things that have been dominant and shut you down and make you feel that you're not good enough, or whatever the different stories that were created, is for you to let that go, because that there's a new reality that's coming into our world. And so we get to tap into that energy and we go with that flow. And so that's where we're at. And these are different symbols that are connected to the 12 strands of DNA, the technology of love. But it's all about creating your story of self-love. And it's self-love for some people means a weakness, that means selfish, but self-love to me is a technology where you get to know yourself so well that you can play the role that you want to play in the level that you want to play. So that's what we want to do. And so let's take a 2 minutes break, or you can go and get, just take 2 minutes break, and then we'll come back, and me and Kevin are going to do the reading for each one of you guys, and then helping you define your possibilities for the future. All right? Thank you. Okay. Let's see if everybody is back. I think everybody is back. So, all right, so okay, just wait for a little longer. Yes, I should ask if you guys have any question.
No, what you're sharing, I believe, is really unique. And, I want to just tell you, Kevin, I really appreciate your insight and some of the things, just listening to you at different points here. And, you know, when you first started off, you started talking a little bit about, people either see things either like black and white or this and that and all of this. But instead, you start seeing things in color, but it translates to me that you start seeing things as in a world of possibilities. The colors represent possibilities.
Mhm. Yes.
Yes, that's what it is. You got it. Okay, so Sherry, will that be okay? We start with you first, huh? I don't know if Sherry can hear me. Okay, let's see. Rose, would you like me to start with you?
Okay, I'm wondering if I have to unmute people. I don't know. Can they unmute themselves?
Yes, they can. Sherry,
Oh,
can you unmute yourself, hon?
maybe she's somewhere.
Okay, so I think we're going to start with hi, Sherry.
I'm Esther.
That's Esther.
Oh, Esther, pleasure having you in the call.
Yes,
So,
I'm listening on Sherry's phone.
all right, great. Will that be okay for you if we do a reading for you?
Yes, you can always do a reading for me.
Thank you so much. All right, so again, this is not about focusing into what is not working, it's focusing into the possibility. And so we're ready. And so I'm just going to, if you want to write down some of the things that we're getting for you, some of the blocks and limiting beliefs. And
Yes,
then,
I will write it down.
all right, and since while
I'm
I'm
having
sharing,
this recorded as well, so
Oh, thank you, Rose. Let me
Yeah.
give Kai a video so he's entertained. Okay,
all right.
here you go.
So one of the blogs, and sometimes we may get, Heidi, are you okay to come into the call if I feel like something needs to be shared? Okay, so teamwork is very important for you. It's one of the things that you have been teaching to people. I don't know too much about your work, Han, but I'm just reading your energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So teamwork, it has been literally the crucial element in your life, and how to empower people so they can be able to understand and how to generate more financial wealth, right? So, but one of the things that's missing is you. So one of the things that is missing you is you're teaching others, but you're not teaching who you are in your experience. So, and your experience is already shifting the energy, which is a very important element. And the business that are going to be succeeding in life is going to be sharing your experience. So Kevin, go ahead, and that is the block we get to clear for her. What would you suggest in that one?
The feeling I'm getting is to be to share more of your intimate experiences, share more of not only what your successes are, but of where you find some blocks in your life. Don't be afraid to listen to others and relate to those experiences and relate to how they're struggling. Because with that, it'll open up opportunities for you to help people in a lot more ways.
Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. I actually just wrote a book about all my obstacles and challenges in my life from day one
Wow.
until now. So I just wrote a whole book about all my challenges, everything I went through, and then also my lessons learned, and then action steps for others to take. So I just put it all in a book that's coming. I'm waiting for the box to arrive with my hard copies, and it will be going out soon. So I guess there's some alignment right there.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Heidi, are you getting anything, Han, or are you feeling complete?
Yeah, just I was feeling it in the throat, the speaking. So this is beautiful, the writing, and now the speaking of the vulnerability of like it's like freeing up the throat chakra here, the creating.
So let me give you an explanation. I think Kevin has the answer. What is the difference between, in your own experience, Kevin, what's the difference of sharing something with feelings or with the logical, with the brain, right? There's a big difference on that. How would you translate that for the benefit of everyone?
Sharing from my logical part, the more, and I get these mixed up because I'm dyslexic to begin with, but the left and the right brains. But sharing from the more intellectual point, I couch my what I'm saying, and I'm very careful about really the way and how much I want to share. Being more vulnerable and sharing from the heart, that self-love that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying self-love is all new to me, but it's a new way of expressing, as sharing from my heart as to why this was such an important experience to me, not just the technical part about what I learned from it, but why it it has changed my life and why I'm struggling. Opens up a different level of and energy that I can follow, and I have found that has helped a lot with other people too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I just want to suggest to drink some water, Han, because this is you're processing the information. So it may not come all together right now, but in the next few days, you're just going to start feeling a new way of how to describe your creation, because this is
Mm-hmm.
creating what you're creating. Congratulations on your book. Okay, John, would you like to be the next one?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Han.
You're welcome.
John, can you hear us? Okay, if you can just unmute
I
yourself.
think you're on mute, John.
Okay, I think I'm
Perfect.
should be
So
heard.
your next level of expression into the reality or into what's coming in the world and is to be able to understand that you have what it takes to make those transformations. And we're going to have Heidi explaining that first. Are you okay, Heidi? Explain that to him, please. While I'm clearing the block, she's going to explain something else that she see.
Yeah, I'm seeing I'm seeing you kind of as a child. So this energy that Elena is talking about is taking your essence back to, yeah, I'm feeling it in my body. A a childlike essence, very connected to source, very connected to your heart, very connected to spirit. And it's really freeing up a lot.
I believe it.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Kevin, would you mind giving him some options and how to move forward in the new reality?
I feel from you, you have vast amount of knowledge and experience. And sometimes we can get caught up in utilizing that. So looking at that vast amount of knowledge and experience in how Heidi said it, and it kind of came in sideways when she said this, from a new perspective, from a child's perspective. Not that you don't utilize that experience and knowledge, but understand that it can be expressed in a very new way and even implemented in a different way, that it doesn't have to be as it was before, because I fall into this a lot with my job because I have rules I have to follow. But as soon as I look at it in a different way, I see a lot more answers.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good. And yes, I do need to change my perspective a bit. And one of the things that I'm battling is the fact that back in 2008, I had a very serious stroke, and much of my logical brain was damaged. And so I look at things now in a different way. And my interpretation of life is primarily from the emotional point of view, the right brain side. And it's interesting because I frequently run into blocks from people who don't want to do that. They're more logically oriented, and they get kind of strung out because I want to talk about feelings. I want to deal with the realities of the emotional impacts of what we are doing. And these other people are just saying, oh, I can't do that. We can't talk about that in business. It's really strange when you run into it.
It's very true. So I have to honor Kevin. This is you. There's one more suggestion that you have for him about how to deal with the feelings in a corporate level.
Dealing with the feelings from a sense of love and joy.
Mhm.
Instead of like, this is the situation, oh my God, but because I can easily fall into that too, from love and joy, saying this is an opportunity that I'm going to really be excited about, or if we can look at it from this position and it could offer this type, it's more of transforming forward instead of just being present in that one feeling that's occurring right now.
Yeah, and I like the circular model because I think that I'm operating more in a circular manner than I ever have in the past. And because of the nature of the things I'm doing right now, it's good, because otherwise I get locked into a pattern that would be self-defeating. And I want to make sure I stay out of it.
Yes.
How can you show how to stay out of it, Kevin?
Slow down. Understand where the feelings are coming from. Understand the emotions that you want to express, and be very cognizant of how you're expressing those emotions, because sometimes we allow the emotions to express themselves more than really what we want to express.
Right. And then you get into big trouble.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie Han, would you like to be next? Thank you, John. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
sharing. Stephanie?
I think she had to step out.
Okay. So we go to Andrea Han. Would you like us to support you?
Yes.
Would you like to share with us what you have such an interesting job? Can you share with the group what you do, which I think is fascinating?
Oh, I work for Ford Motor Company. I work on the assembly line, and I make like rear ends for the Explorer, and we make axles.
Okay, that's great. That's fascinating. You are like right in the male power, right? We're talking about female power, and you're talking about the male power, where like they have more different way where it's easier for, I think you should say, women to get lost into the process of the male structure and not be able to find your own identity. Am I right? So,
Yeah.
so we're just going to give the chance to Heidi Han. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, sweetie. Would you please coach her into how to find her own identity in a space of male power? Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So I'm actually I'm just feeling some adjustments here for just a second. Sorry about that. In my core. So stable and grounded. So feeling when speaking stable and grounded. And from a place, this place is connecting. Sorry, I'm seeing a few different things happen at the same time. So I'm trying to articulate. But feeling this grounded, stabled space connected to the heart and the articulation, I'm seeing you speaking in a way in which you're feeling empowered. And you're also still connected to this feminine energy. So I'm seeing this combining this connection of the feminine and the masculine energy.
Right, thank you. Kevin, from the male perspective, being in the world, what male energy is dominant and where they create so much structure, but then they forget about feelings. What will be your suggestion to empower female energy in the space of female, in the situation of the female founding that Rose is creating? What is what you are getting in the ones that is this is supporting her into creating this new reality? I cannot see you here. Can you see me? Okay.
Yep, I can see you.
Okay.
Okay, so when Heidi was speaking, what I heard was be more accepting of that you are a woman in a man's world. And that is kind of hard to do, but because you want to fit in, it doesn't mean that you have to force them to become more feminine. You can be more feminine and in what you're doing, and you don't have to shrink away of those powers and those understandings in the way that you believe and act on that. So this is what I heard, is that when in a man's world, and I have a couple of construction managers that I deal with. Most of them are male and only two are female. And as a result, I see how the females will try to fit more into the male world, except for one female construction manager. And the way she does this is she will stand up and say, "This is not acceptable. I don't accept what you're saying. I don't accept the language that you're using." And you have to remember that, well, as she would say it, you work for me since I hired you. Now, in your situation, it would be we work together. So to make this work, I would appreciate and respect that you wouldn't say these certain things or act these certain ways. And I'm not sure if that happens to you, but I'm
Every
just
day.
and to be able to stand up and look at them and not shrink from that belief, because that's your true essence. As Heidi says, it's your true essence inside of you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Before we keep going, I want to thanks, oh my gosh, Heidi and Kevin for coming today, because I have been sick since I came to Peru. I got this congestion, and I was just in the hospital a couple hours ago because I couldn't breathe. So it was pretty neat that being here in Portugal, I noticed the system, the medical system, it works really fast. I was in the emergency room. It took me 10 minutes to get in, talk to the doctor, and get out there, go to the pharmacy, which I got my prescription in 10 minutes. I didn't have to wait any line. I guess that's the system that they have here, the understanding how. And that's probably why they don't have homeless people, because it's a free system. And even though I went to a private doctor, I didn't pay more than $120. It was my sister who paid $110 compared to what I would probably have paid in the United States, over, I don't know, $1,000. So I think that to me was the understanding of how efficient we can be if we are creating our female and male energy together. And so thank you. And I called Kevin right before the call and say, hey, you get to be my support system here and help me to just share, through your feelings, through your fifth dimensional reality and sending with Heidi. So I appreciate him to coming here and helping me out. So we are going to go to the next person. So who wants to be the next person? They want us to be a support to you into generating new possibilities in the future. I see Emma. I don't know, Emma, if you're open to that. Thank you, Andrea.
Hi. So I'm kind of more taking notes and listening in right now. I don't know if I have anything specific.
Okay,
But
sweetheart. Okay, thank you. Justy, hun, how are you? I think she's not ready yet. So, Stephanie, honey, how are you doing? Great. Are you ready for it? We cannot hear you, sweetheart. Okay. So,
Okay. Yes. Very good. Thank you. Let's go.
the coach that we're going to do for you is going to be a little deeper that we have done with all of them, because we have a little time, and then I think we'll finish with Rose. But again, it's about creating possibilities, right? So I was working with you the other day, and it was no time yet, but I noticed that one of the blocks that you carry through generations is what I will call let me just tap into your energy, because I'm going to be clearing by sharing this to you, right? It's the block of lack of understanding of money. You can make as many choices that you want in life, but it will never really, if we don't make this change, it will never really help you to understand how you can manage money. How can you generate those thousands of dollars I want to generate? So why is that so important? Because I met one person, and she was 60 years old, and she didn't have the concept of what was love about, because she never had experienced her loving her. So she didn't know how to express love. She had a zero meaning what was love about. And so in your genetic level, you can have and that kind of happened to me in some ways. I had my gifts, I was very skilled in it, but when it came to money too, I didn't really have enough experience in my body to generate what I wanted. Does that make sense? So while I'm doing the genetic clearing, I want to have Heidi. Heidi, would you mind coming into the call? So that she's going to express what she's observing while I'm making the changes in the molecular behavior.
Yes.
So go ahead, Han. So I'm going to start changing one of the moleculars. I'm going to find the electron that doesn't have the understanding of money. And we're going to create a reality where I'm going to change that electron into a molecular behavior where we're bringing information of the future, so she can be able to understand how it feels to make money. So I want you to express what is your experience, or when you're seeing, and through your gift, which is visions.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got quite a bit of movement. I'm feeling so many things today. Quite a bit of movement. Elena's very powerful. we have some energy that's actually leaving at the moment. I'm seeing some old energy, some energy also connected to her ancestral line that is just very smoothly moving out. So there is, or maybe some feeling within the body as that old energy moves out, and that kind of just relaxing and accepting. We've talked about that a little bit today, that accepting as the transition of that energy moves out of the body. And here, a really beautiful lights coming through to connect into these possibilities of future creation. And here going many years out to connect your possibilities. And it's very, very beautiful energy coming through here. And again, I'm just kind of being reminded, breathe. If you need to drink a little bit of water. There we go. It's really beautiful energy connecting into your heart, into your essence.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank
Mhm.
you. Okay, we're going to have Kevin. I think the reason why we're doing this is because I want to introduce the idea that it doesn't matter how much you want to create some things and you have the intention, like relationships, if there is something inside of you that you have no experience, what it is, how to have that, it's not going to happen. And that's why it's an honor to be able to support. I believe in Rose's dream, which is empowering female power, teaching women how to generate money, how to support themselves, how to stand in their power, how to be able to believe into creating a new reality where we can work together as women, as a team, right? To be able to not be dominant, but support the essence of what it can be created, playing our specific role. So this is my team. So Kevin, what are the possibilities that are you going to, maybe 5 possibilities in outlining the outlining?
Okay, so as both you and Heidi were talking, I was jotting down some thoughts that I was getting, and the idea of fear is big in terms of how you approach things. Like, should I do it this way? Should I not do it this way? And as a result, you're coming more from the old professor type of intellectual part of this, and that is something that is blocking your trust as to what you can actually do. This also comes with the change, because both Heidi and Elena were talking about how you're going to feel this change that's occurring in you. You have to trust that change and allow it to occur and walk along with it. Then you'll understand it, not from an intellectual point of view, from a feeling point of view. And you have to be careful not to mix the intellectual because you want to define it. I'm that way. I have to define everything. I can sit down and read it in a book and understand it, then I can go and do it. Then some of the other thoughts that were coming down is that your center of power, the center of power in the Inca symbols are 2 triangles that go together with a center. And in the end, your center of power, you have to trust that from your center of love. So as these changes are occurring, look for the opportunities that are coming from that center of power and coming from your center of love. because the self-love is really going to allow you to push through more of the intellectual end of how you approach things.
Thank you, Kevin. And I think I kind of just want to add one more thing, Stephanie, is that you're not alone. I know that Heidi and Kevin and myself, there was a moment in our lives that we believed that was the case. That was part of what we believe that we're alone. But this moment when you learn to trust yourself, and I learned that trust is showing a vision or that you're not alone. That's part of trusting yourself. When you go, there is something that's there supporting you, as long as you learn to love yourself. If you can love yourself and you can trust yourself, there's so many opportunities that be presented to us. And I just got a message from Rose, so I just want to make sure that I'm following outline. Okay, and so ideally, what I see that Rose wants to do is she wants to create a team of advisors, right? And each one is going to, it's like saying she's going to do an assessment. She's going to see what clients want to experience. And based on what they experience, she's going to create a package, and then she's going to assign to each one of the advisors based on the personality of the person that is coming into her program, to be able to support that person, to empower themselves, and to be able to become what they want to become. So, Kevin, what are you saying?
What I'm seeing is that when you're working with these other people in terms of trying to help them see what they want to become, it's very important to allow them to see their experience, to allow them to see what both their strengths and their weaknesses and everything else along with it are, but they have to see it. Like, we can't define it for them. For a long time, people were telling me this, that, and everything else about myself. I could probably intellectually see it, but until I experienced it and actually understood it, that's when I could actually step out and start making that changes or taking those opportunities.
Thank you so much. Heidi, what would be your input when it comes to that for Rose and her female funder organization that she's working so hard for?
It's so beautiful. I just want to say that with the depth and emotion in which is here for it, which it's so beautiful. It's exactly what Kevin is saying in terms of the awareness. It's a paradigm shift, a paradigm change. It is this acceptance, the let go, the trust, pieces of self, and then of everyone that you speak to, you touch, and work within the co-creation of what you're doing.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Rose, would you please share what are your feelings and how can we support your dream?
Yeah, well, Heidi, thank you for what you're seeing. It's I guess I've never heard it to be described as beautiful. So thank you. And I truly believe that if we empower women for wealth, we are going to see impact that has never been seen in history. And that's what I'm excited to be a part of.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to know that I have worked also really hard to be able to create these energies that have been guided, to be able to support into being there for you. I don't know, I don't have words, but I just want to say thank you for each one of you coming into this call. And do you have any questions at this moment? I think everybody feeling complete. Kevin, do you want to say anything before we're done? And then Heidi?
Basically, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here, and especially thank Elena for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I as Heidi said with Rose's reading, you know, we all have this spark within us that wants to grow something bigger. And as a result, if we can tap into that, as Elena just so succinctly said, from the position of self-love and then growing from there, it's limitless as to where we can go.
Thank you so much. Heidi, what was the last message? Your intuition, your self-love is telling you?
Beautiful. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call as well. And that was the message. It was just there's a feeling of coming out of this call with a celebration of self-love. Just a very beautiful depth of feeling into our own spaces and places and hearts of self-love and stepping from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rose, for giving us the opportunity to share what the Inca Way can do to support you and your team to grow to the level that you want to create. Thank you, Han. Thank you to everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. I think there's one last person who popped in here. It says iPhone. I'm not sure if we missed one last person.
Hi, it's Emma. I had to pop out for a second, but I just rejoined.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Emma, for coming. As many of you might not know, is Emma's been working on behalf of the Female Founders Institute, and she's been doing an incredible job with research. And so I'm honored to work with her.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Rose.
Okay, you have a good night, you guys, and probably talk to Rose after this. Will that be okay? Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Heidi. You have a good night.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night now.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Bye.